Dear students, welcome to Tungala online classes. In the last video I had started with one of the biomicromolecules called as lipids. So lipids are not considered as biomacromolecules. Why? Because these do not undergo any polymerization of the monomers into biomacromolecules. Hence these are simply called as biomicromolecules. So if these one become biomacromolecules, then they combine with either the proteins or the carbohydrates so as to form large molecules I had already mentioned. So in the last video, what are these lipids? Who named the term lipids? And so what are fatty acids? So already we have gone through all these one. Lipids are nothing but they are the esters of fatty acids as well as an alcohol called as glycerol already have mentioned, right? So what are these fatty acids, right? We saw that one. What are the types of fatty acids, that is essential fatty acids as well as non-essential fatty acids. So we discussed in the last video thoroughly, right? So and after that one, in this class we are going to classify once again these fatty acids into two types. One is saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids, right? So first of all we will go through the classification first, and so if we go through the difference, the major difference between these two, then we come to know what are saturated one, what are unsaturated one, right? So let us start with the saturated and unsaturated fatty acids now, right? Saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. So let us see the difference between these two first. Yes, first one. So these contain single bond between hydrocarbon. Here unsaturated one. These contain one or more double bonds between the hydrocarbon chain. So this is the first difference between these two. Second one, so these saturated one, these are solids in room temperature. These are solids in room temperature, but these are liquids in room temperature. These are liquids in nature in room temperature, and these are solids in room temperature, right? This is the second difference between saturated as well as unsaturated one. And these saturated one, so these saturated one have the general formula CnH2nO2 is the general formula of this one, and CnH2n minus 2xO2 is the general formula of unsaturated fatty acids. Here X stands for number of double bonds present over here, right? So that is considered over here. This is the general formula of what? So this unsaturated one. And fourth one, these are present in animals, especially they are available in animals, and these are available in plants. These are available in plants. right? This is also one more major difference between these saturated as well as unsaturated one. And these have high melting point, and these have low melting point. Low melting point is there, right? These have low melting point, these have high melting point. So examples we can quote for this one, right? Both of these one. Here butyric acid. Butyric acid is one example. Stearic acid. Stearic acid is another example. Over here, palmitic acid. Palmitic acid is another example. So, arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is another example for, so what, saturated fatty acids. What about the unsaturated fatty acids? Oleic acid is one, and second one is linoleic acid is another one example for this one. What is the difference between saturated as well as unsaturated? We came to know. That is very simple. So these contain single bonds between the hydrocarbon chain, and these contain one or more number of double bonds in hydrocarbon chain itself. And these are usually solids in nature in room temperature. These are usually liquid in room temperature. Right? So the general formula of these saturated one is CnH2nO2, and here CnH2n minus 2x, so O2. X stands for number of double bonds within themselves, and these are present in the animals, especially these are present in plants, right? They are available in plants, right? So means the major source of these saturated one is animals, and this unsaturated one is plants, right? And these have high melting point. So I mean the saturated one have high melting point. So these have low melting point. Apart from this one, the best examples for all these one, so that is butyric acid, stearic acid, palmitic acid, arachidonic acid are the example for saturated one. Oleic acid, linoleic acid are the best example for unsaturated one. So this is the major difference between these two types of what? Fatty acids over here. Okay, after this one. So these are, once again they have been classified based on the number of double bonds present within themselves. See here, if the fatty acids have one double bond, then such kind of fatty acids are called as monoenoic fatty acids. If two double bonds are there, dienoic fatty acids. In the same way, if three are there, trienoic fatty acids. This way also, based on the number of double bonds present in these one, they have been classified into three types. Let us write classification of fatty acids based on number of double bonds. Number of double bonds here. Okay, first one, monoenoic acids, right? Monoenoic fatty acids means these are fatty acids with a single double bond. Second one, dienoic fatty acids. What are these dienoic? Di stands for 2. So here these are fatty acids with 2 double bonds. With 2 double bonds over here. And third one, trienoic fatty acids. What are these trienoic fatty acids? These are the fatty acids with 3 double bonds. These are fatty acids with 3 double bonds called as trienoic fatty acids. So this is how fatty acids are also classified this way also. And one more thing. See here one important point. Polyunsaturated fatty acids are also present over here. So this is PUFA. PUFA is very important to remember over here. This is nothing but polyunsaturated fatty acids. What do you mean by these one? If any fatty acid that contain more than one number of double bond, then they are said to be as polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are called as. Okay. So these are fatty acids with more than one double bond within it. They are said to be as PUFA. So these PUFA, they do not form any atherosclerosis in the blood vessels. So these do not form. These do not form atherosclerosis. It is the condition where the deposition of the fat material that take place in a small blood vessels or blood capillaries called as atherosclerosis. We will explain that one in circulatory system in detailed way. So, but you must remember here they do not form any atherosclerosis. This term you must remember. That's all. Right? So, example for such kind of PUFA which are present in sunflower oil. Sunflower oil or safflower oil. Then, these PUFA are usually present over here. So this is the classification of what fatty acids based on the number of double bonds over here. Right? So this is one fact you came to know. Right? And after this one, glycerol. Let us see glycerol. What is this glycerol? It is an alcohol. So it is an alcohol with a backbone of 3 carbon atoms with OH groups respectively. See here are 3 carbon atoms. So these have OH groups. See here, this is OH group, right? Here H. This is the structure of the glycerol. So what is backbone made up of 3 carbon atoms? So they are attached to what? 3 respective OH groups. So this is one what? Glycerol. So this glycerol has OH groups over here. These OH groups, if they reacted with COOH groups, then they form triglycerol or triglyceride, right? So is formed over here. How it is formed? Let us see the structure over here. Plus, we can write this structure this way. or else in another way also we can write, that is nothing but R CH2OH CH2OH. This way also we can write the same glycerol. Plus, when it reacts with EHOOC, COOH, R2 group, R3, like this. So this is nothing but fatty acid. This is fatty acid. This is glycerol. Then when these two react each other, then it gives a triglyceride. What it gives? A triglyceride. Or triglycerol is given over here. So how this triglycerol is written over here? Let us see, CH2OCOR1 CHOCOR2 R3. So this is nothing but triglyceride, what we call it as, right? See here, plus, what happened here? What is the release over here? 3 number of H2 molecules. What molecules have been released over there? So 3H2O. So what it gave? Triglyceride is given over here, right? So this is how glycerol plus fatty acids together form the triglyceride, that is nothing but one of the lipids itself, right? Classification of these lipids. Classification of lipids. So see here, these lipids have been classified into 3 major types. One is called as simple lipids and compound lipids, as well as derived lipids. So these are the 3 kinds of lipids that we come across over here. First one, so simple lipids. These simple lipids are the type of lipids which contain fatty acids as well as alcohol. The alcohol may be same type or so varieties of alcohol it may have, right? That is nothing but simple lipids. These are called compound lipids. Of course, these are also consisting of fatty acids plus one of the alcohol. Along with this one, some other substances are also present over here. Some other substances are also involved so as to form compound lipids over here. And derived lipids are those lipids or substances got as a result of hydrolysis of simple and compound lipids over here. Means these derived lipids are nothing but they are derived from simple or compound lipids by the action of hydrolysis process, right? So this is how broadly these lipids have been classified into 3 major sections. One is called as simple lipids, compound lipids, and third one is the derived lipids. So first of all, we'll start with the first one, that is simple lipids now, right? What these simple lipids are? Simple lipids. So these are mainly made up of fatty acids plus alcohol called as glycerol. Already I have told you, so I have explained you. So there are three fatty acids. So combined with an alcohol called as glycerol. Glycerol. So as to form triglyceride. Triglyceride itself is one of the what? Simple lipid. It is one of the simple lipid. So these lipids, they have been classified into different types. See here, these lipids may consisting of same type of fatty acids, or they may consisting of different types of fatty acids. Already you know. See here, so three fatty acids combined with glycerol. Glycerol is always being the same, but fatty acids may be similar, so may be dissimilar. On that basis, one is pure lipids. They have been classified into pure lipids and mixed lipids. So they have been classified into. What do you mean by pure lipids? These are the lipids with three same fatty acids. Same fatty acids plus glycerol. Right? So if it is so, then it is called as pure lipids. And mixed lipids, these are the lipids with dissimilar fatty acids and glycerol. This way they have been classified into two types, right? So one is pure lipids and mixed lipids over here. Most of the fats or the lipids are being mixed one. Most of themselves are being mixed one, right? These are of two types. See here, so these may be oils and they may be fats here. See here, what are these oils? You may ask for here. So these are also a kind of lipids which are liquid in room temperature. These are liquid in room temperature, and they have a short chain of fatty acids they contain, right? And these have low melting point. These have low melting point, right? Example, sunflower oil and groundnut oil. So these are the best examples we can quote over here. So groundnut oil, sunflower oil. So these are the oils. So the types of oils these are, and so sometimes vegetable oils are also there. So these vegetable oils, since they contain more than one double bond within themselves, what it suggests? They contain more than one double bond. What it means? They form PUFA. They simply form PUFA. PUFA in the sense that polyunsaturated fatty acids they form, right? And these oils, so by hydrogenation, they have been converted into hard fats itself, right? So these oils undergo hydrogenation so as to form the fats over here. So as to form the fats over there, right? So now we came to know what are oils, right? What is the difference between oils as well as fats? Oils are converted into fats by hydrogenation process. Oils, you may write here, oils are converted into fats by hydrogenation process itself, right? So this is how, so the oils and fats are somewhat different over here. Then now we shall see here what are the hard fats. Hard fats. What these hard fats are? Already I have told you oils are converted into fats over here. They are hard fats. So these are saturated lipids. These are nothing but saturated lipids which are solids in room temperature. They are solids in room temperature and they have high melting point over here. So the best example for this one is animal fat, that is butter. Butter is animal fat, right? Butter is the animal fat. So this is the hard fat. So this is hard fat, we can say, but it is very smooth enough since it has very short chains of fatty acids over here. And these fats may be, already I have told you, fats are converted into two types. So they are, one is said to be as a fat, are converted into, or they have been classified into two types, right? So there are different types of fats that we have already discussed. Pure as well as impure fats. Pure fats or mixed fats, already we have gone through. If they have same type of fatty acids, if they are different type of fatty acids, based on that they have been classified into two types. And these fats are acting as insulators. These are acting as insulators. Why these are acting as insulators? Because one thing, they do not or they prevent the loss of heat from the body. Hence they are said as insulators. These prevent loss of heat from the body of the animals. So that's why they are acting as the insulators, one thing. And they are also acting as padding material. They are acting as padding material. Means these fats are present in between the internal organs, right? That feels means they feel cushion like. So that kind of padding material these fats are acting as, right? Most of the fat is usually collected in, so one of the tissues, already I have explained all the kinds of animal tissues. There, areolar tissue, adipose tissue. Adipose tissue is one such kind of tissue in which fat is deposited there. So already we have gone through this one. Okay, so they are acting as the padding material, and these fats are acting as what? So shock absorbers. Why they are acting as shock absorbers is because some of the organs which are exposed to shocks or external shocks, so they have been tolerated due to the presence of these fats around such kind of organs there, right? So this is how these fats are, right? Next one, butter itself is one of the such kind of hard fat itself, right? Next one is waxes. What are these waxes? What are these waxes? Waxes are also nothing but hard fats itself. These are long chains of fatty acids over here. These are long chain of fatty acids combined with alcohol, that is a long chain of alcohol itself. So these are waxes. So such kind of waxes, one of them is beeswax. So it helps in building building hives, beehives, right? So bee wax itself is one type of wax, right? So this is secreted by abdominal glands of worker bees. There are three castes of bees that we come across. One is queen, that is female, only female, and second one is drone, that is only male, and worker bees, they are sterile females. So these sterile females have abdominal glands which can secrete the wax over here. That wax, right, that forms or that builds the hive with the help of worker bees, right? This is one. And one more thing is, so this same waxy coating is present on the upper surface of the leaf that avoids or prevents the loss of water, right? Epidermal dermis has cuticle. This is a waxy material made up of cutin, and this prevents the loss of water from the upper surface of the leaf itself, and it avoids or it prevents degradation of leaves in water. As you know, in aquatic plants this waxy coating is very thick and hard, and that prevents the degradation of the leaves in the water. So since the plants itself, they grow in water and they have to exist in water, there the chance of the degradation of the organic material, since leaves are the structures which are made up of organic material, so they may undergo degradation, so that is avoided by this waxy coating itself. This is how, so these waxes are very much useful. And one more wax is there, one more animal wax is there, that is wool wax. Wool wax, or it is said as wool fat. Wool fat is also there. So this is secreted by the cutaneous glands of the sheep. Cutaneous glands of sheep, we can say. Cutaneous stand for skin. On the skin there are certain glands are there, they secrete what? This wool fat. So this avoids or prevents the absorption of water over here, so the water doesn't stay for longer period on the hairs of these sheep itself. This is wool wax, right? So or wool fat it is called as. And the next one, cerumen. Cerumen, ear wax, it is said as ear wax. So which is secreted by the glands present in the in the ears itself. So those glands which secrete a waxy material called as ear wax. So this traps the dust particles or any microbes which are potentially trying to enter into the ears itself, right? So this is ear wax, is also one kind of wax. Sebum, next one is sebum. What is this sebum? What is this sebum? It is also one kind of the waxy material, oily material which is secreted by the cutaneous glands or the skin glands of the human being, we can say, right? Of the skin, they secrete oily substance so that it can keep the skin always moist itself, right? So sebaceous glands, they are called as sebaceous glands of skin secrete this sebum. It is also one. And paraffin wax is also there. It is collected from the what? So petroleum itself, and it is one of the best product, so which is used for preparation of cosmetics or some other materials there, right? So this is all about the waxes as well as oils as well as fats. Now next one is, so that is compound lipids. Second main type, that is compound lipids. What is compound lipids? Already the name itself, compound, means it contains not only the fatty acids and alcohol, but other substances are also involved in that one. All together form these compound lipids over here, right? So these are the lipids. These are the lipids which not only contain fatty acids and an alcohol, glycerol, but also contain what it contains, other substances. They may be other substances. Other substances may be so carbohydrates sometimes, or they may be so proteins sometimes, or some other materials, so as to form the compound lipids over here. Example. So the first one we can take phospholipids. Phospholipids are the kind of compound lipids. Phospholipids, as you know, the membrane is made up of phospholipids. Okay, so there we come across polar heads and non-polar tails over there. So non-polar, that is tails, that is hydrophobic in nature, and hydrophilic, so polar heads are there. All these so together form the phospholipids. These phospholipids are said to be as amphipathic. Why they are called as amphipathic is because they contain non-polar tails, that is hydrophobic tail, and polar heads, that is hydrophilic. So polar heads and non-polar tail, both the groups it contains, hence it is said to be as amphipathic one, right? So especially in the cell membrane, you are seeing that, so these are nothing but polar heads. These are okay. These are all polar heads over here, and non-polar tails are facing towards the center. See here, these are non-polar fatty acid tails. They are hydrophobic in nature, and these heads are hydrophilic in nature. See here, this is how the cell membrane is, right? So these are nothing but phospholipids, one thing. These are one type of compound lipids. And the second type of compound lipids, what is that? Glycolipids, right? Glycolipids are also there. Here glycans plus lipids together form glycolipids, right? And third one, lipoproteins. What is lipo? They are nothing but lipids plus proteins, right? Together form lipoproteins. So they are usually present in yolk itself as well as blood, etc. Right? Lipoproteins are there, right? And the next one is fourth one, lecithin. Very important one. I would like to explain this one thoroughly now. So lecithin is also one more. Lecithin mainly consisting of one glycerol, two fatty acids. Remember, one glycerol, two fatty acids it contains. Along with that one more. So that is phosphoric acid is present in that one. And one more, that is base is also there, that is choline. All these three will form lecithin. See here, it contains glycerol plus two fatty acids plus phosphoric acid plus choline. So choline is also one of the neurotransmitter. So this lecithin may be what? It may be saturated or unsaturated. Saturated or it may be unsaturated. Alright, one. And this lecithin is available abundantly in some of the tissues of certain organs. So it is present abundantly in tissues of heart, lungs, liver, brain, etc. In different organs it is present in the tissues, right? So especially in lungs. So in lungs, so dipalmitic lecithin itself is one of the lecithins present in the lungs. So especially it acts as surfactant. What it acts as? Surfactant. So as to prevent the collapse of alveoli. It acts as surfactant to prevent collapse of what? Collapse of the alveoli. That indirectly or it helps for expansion of these alveoli over there. It avoids the pressure during the expansion of these alveoli during breathing, right? And even this lecithin helps for emulsification of fats, right? Lecithin also helps in emulsification of fats. So I will explain this emulsification of fats during so what digestion there itself. So this is how lecithin is also one of the compound lipids, right? Phospholipids are there, glycolipids are there, and even the lipoproteins are there. All these are said to be as compound lipids. These not only consisting of fatty acids and glycerol, but also some other substances along with themselves, and they are very much useful so for ourselves, right? So this is about the compound lipids. And the last one is derived lipids are also there. So these are nothing but these are the substances which are got as a result of hydrolysis of simple lipids as well as compound lipids. I have already given the definition for this one, and I will explain what are those derived lipids so in the next video. Thank you.